The first bell of the morning echoed through Jefferson Heights High School like a warning rather than a welcome, and every student felt it. Because change had arrived overnight and no one quite knew what to do with it. The rumor had spread faster than homework answers. There was a new director, not just new to the school but new to the district, new to the city, and for some, uncomfortably new in ways they weren't ready to name out loud. And when Dr. Naomi Carter walked through the front gates that morning, dressed in a tailored navy blazer, heels clicking with calm authority against the concrete, posture straight, eyes observant and unflinching, she could feel the weight of hundreds of stares pressing against her skin, some curious, some hopeful, and others sharp with resentment. Jefferson Heights had never had a woman director before, let alone a black woman, and though the district press release spoke of excellence, reform, and leadership, the halls whispered something uglier, something rooted in fear of losing old power. Naomi had spent her entire career preparing for moments like this, earning every degree twice over in rooms where she was underestimated, surviving meetings where her ideas were praised only when repeated by someone else, and learning the hard way that dignity was not given but defended, but nothing truly prepares you for walking into a building that doesn't believe you belong there. As she passed lockers covered in peeling paint and outdated posters, she noticed the way teachers stiffened before forcing polite smiles, how students nudged each other and stared openly, and how one boy in particular leaned lazily against a trophy case near the main office, smirk already in place, eyes following her with open challenge. His name was Tyler Grant, though everyone just called him Grant. The son of a wealthy school board donor, a senior who had ruled the halls for years with intimidation disguised as confidence, someone teachers avoided disciplining, because paperwork had a way of disappearing when his name was involved. And as Naomi stopped to greet the front desk staff, Tyler laughed loudly enough for the room to hear, muttering something about diversity hires and checklist leadership, words that drew snickers from a few. Students desperate to stay on the right side of power. Naomi heard it, she heard everything, but she didn't react, because she understood something Tyler didn't yet. The loudest people often reveal their weakness first. The morning assembly was scheduled minutes later, and as students poured into the auditorium, Tyler made sure to sit front row center, arms crossed, legs stretched out arrogantly, phone in hand, determined to make a show of disrespect. And when Naomi stepped onto the stage, the room quieted not out of respect but anticipation, as if everyone sensed a collision was coming. She introduced herself simply, voice steady, warm without being soft, speaking about accountability, opportunity, and the belief that every student mattered. And for a moment, even Tyler felt it, the pull of sincerity. But then he stood up without permission, clapping slowly, mockingly, and asked in a loud voice whether the school was about to lower standards to make people feel included. And gasps rippled through the room. Teachers froze, administrators shifted nervously, and every eye snapped back to Naomi, waiting to see if she would crack, retreat, or explode. Instead, she smiled, not the polite kind, but the knowing kind, and calmly thanked Tyler for demonstrating exactly why leadership mattered, before inviting him to stay after assembly to discuss respect and school policy, her tone making it clear this was not a request. Tyler scoffed, sat down, and whispered something crude to his friends, convinced he had won the moment, unaware that moments don't end when applause fades. They end when consequences arrive. The rest of the day unfolded like a test, each hour bringing subtle defiance, teachers forgetting to follow new procedures, students pushing boundaries, anonymous notes appearing on Naomi's desk questioning her authority, but she observed, documented, and listened, because power is built on information, not reactions. And when Tyler shoved a freshman into a locker during lunch, while security looked the other way, Naomi saw it all from the balcony above the cafeteria, her jaw tightening not with anger but resolve. She called the school into lockdown for an emergency faculty meeting after final period, a move that immediately sent shockwaves through the building, and as staff gathered, confused and irritated, she played the footage, clear, undeniable, of Tyler's behavior not just that day, but compiled from weeks of archived cameras no one had bothered to review. Incidents of bullying, intimidation, racial slurs, and abuse of privilege laid bare on the screen, and the room fell silent, the kind of silence that strips excuses bare. Tyler was brought in last, swagger intact until he saw the footage freeze on his face. his smirk evaporating as Naomi finally spoke not as a target, but as a director in full command, explaining policy, law, and consequence with precision, announcing immediate suspension pending disciplinary review, and making it clear that donor status did not grant immunity, that this school would no longer protect cruelty, and that leadership meant protecting the vulnerable, not appeasing the powerful. Tyler shouted then, accused her of bias, of playing victim, of trying to ruin his future. But his words echoed hollow in the room, because the evidence spoke louder, and as security escorted him out, students watching from the hall realized something profound had shifted, something irreversible. Later that evening, Naomi sat alone in her new office, the sun setting through dusty blinds, exhaustion finally settling into her bones, but so did certainty, because she knew this was only the beginning, that resistance would grow louder before it broke, and that tomorrow the school would wake up different whether it liked it or not. And as you listen to this story unfold, remember that courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it documents, prepares, and waits for the right moment to stand. And if stories like this matter to you, if you believe in accountability, justice, and voices that refuse to be silenced, make sure you subscribe to this channel, because what happens next doesn't just change a school, it changes lives, and Tyler Grant has no idea that the move he thought would humiliate her has only set the stage for his own reckoning.